Dears, and welcome to the Gaily Digest. I thought I'd do something a little bit different there because I wanted to see how Josh would react. I'm Nigel.
And I'm Joshua, and I'm in shock because that. I was like, I was like, is Mrs. Doubtfire joining the chat? What's going on?
Welcome back to another episode of the Gaily Digest. We will be bringing you some reviews, some more conversations, some more elements of Josh being a moany old bitch, some news, and that is pretty much all we're going to be bringing you this week. So, without further ado, let's crack on with the show. It's now time for the news. Since the last episode, we have had some news that's come up since we'd recorded. Warwickshire Pride had their Pride recently, didn't they, Josh?
Yes.
And they had some problems, which I think we want to report on, to highlight. What were those problems, Josh?
Well, somebody. Well, we don't know who it was. I don't think they still know who it was. They came there in the middle of the night and ripped down various progress flags, trashed a lot of the stalls that were set up ready for the next day for the event, more specifically targeting the trans tent, the transgender pride tent. That was probably, I think they said that was the worst. That was completely really damaged. But obviously they had security. It's just that it's a big event, and obviously security are just going to loop around. So it's obviously happened in that window when they've gone to the other side. But yeah, I don't think they know who's done it still, even now.
No. I mean, yeah, you're right. They had a lot of the pride flags, particularly the Progress Pride flags, that were torn down. The tent that was predominantly for the trans pride seemed to be the main target, the main focus. And I think it just goes to highlight, doesn't it, that it kind of highlights why we still have pride, why pride is still necessary, because these acts of wanton vandalism and the hate crimes, there is no doubt about it. It's been targeted, and it's a hate crime. And it is disappointing that they obviously had security on site, and this level of damage has still been able to take place. Now, obviously, we weren't there. We can't adequately criticise the security, but you'd have thought that they'd have had something in place to try and make sure that this didn't happen. But yeah, Pride still continues because we have this kind of level of hatred shown towards whether it be the whole community or parts of our community. And when you target and attack one part of our community, in my view, and you might agree or disagree, in my view, you're targeting the whole community, because as a community we should stand together because of the fact that we have each, in our own ways, faced discrimination for who we are and for being part of the wider LGBTQ plus community. Would you agree?
Yeah, and I think that a lot of the comments did criticise the security, but I think that's a bit. I don't really agree with that, because they do a lot of events and they do have adequate security, and obviously these people must have been waiting for them to go to the other side and quickly done it. It literally takes a minute to trash a tent. To trash a tent, it probably takes a minute. It doesn't, to cause damage, it doesn't take long. So you can't expect the security guards to be at every single tent 24/7 constantly and never leave that spot, because they're going to patrol. And obviously security costs thousands. It is very expensive, and it's a charity that runs it, so it's completely based on donations and things. So there's a limit on how much you can have. And I've spoken to Daniel, the chair of Warwickshire Pride, and obviously they make sure that it's safe and there's adequate security. So obviously, if next time, they're probably going to have extra security. But what I think what we should focus on, though, is he did put a post out when it happened, and he did say could anybody help to try and like get them back up to how they were before? Because obviously it was the morning of the event, and it was really good to see that there was literally dozens and dozens of people saying, "I'll be there in an hour. I'll be there soon," and they did all turn up and they helped get it back to how it was beforehand. And that's, I think we should focus on that as well, because there was, even though someone's decided to cause, well, vandalize and damage it as like an attack on our community, there was far more people ready and willing to give their time up to show up and to put it right again. And I think that completely cancelled out whoever did the damage tenfold.
Yeah, that was something I was going to mention because I think amongst the bad that happened, and you're right, it's quite important to highlight the good that came out of it and the community spirit. As you say, there were people that were responding to the post he put out that were saying, we'll be there to help clean up, put everything back together, get everything back in order." And I think that just shows what an absolutely tremendous community spirit the Pride community have in Warwickshire. So I think it's important that we give a shout out to all of those that were involved with Warwickshire Pride, in particular the committee, the chair, that obviously have worked hard to bring Warwickshire Pride to what it is, but also for the wider community of Warwickshire, of the Pride community, that actually came together, gave up their free time to turn a negative into a positive. And I just think it's a tremendous feat that all these people have come together to give Warwickshire Pride the pride that it deserves. Ready for another chat, Josh?
Go on then. Can I rant in it? Do I get to rant in this?
This is in conversation. It isn't the complaints closet. You get to complain and rant in the complaints closet later on.
I didn't say complain. I said rant.
Yeah, but you ranting the complaints closet anyway. It's more or less the same thing.
Potato, potato.
Tomato, tomato. So, what are we talking about this week?
I actually said potato, potato because I was trying to make you laugh and you didn't hear me.
Oh, I did hear you. So, what are we talking about this week?
We're talking about flag shaggers. or as you want to call it, raising the colours or whatever bollocks they're calling it.
Oh, I knew this was going to go well from the start.
We're raising the colours, two of them.
Oh dear. But yes, no, we're going to be talking about Operation Raise the Colours, aren't we? Because it's quite topical at the moment, and I think the reason why we want to talk about it is because I think there's a sense of irony and hypocrisy in this, don't you think? I mean, what with it being having been Pride season, well, you know, we've had Pride month and then we've had Pride season. I think Pride season is coming to an end now because we've had Manchester Pride, which is usually signifying the end of the Pride season. And you know, there have been so many people out there that have been criticising our community for flying the Pride flag. Pride flag being flown from buildings, council buildings, this, that, and the other. Companies, organisations flying the Pride flag in solidarity, in support. And people have been so critical of it that they have been resorting to the usual hatred and abuse, homophobic comments, transphobic comments, and the like. But now we've got Operation Raise the Colour, where, and I'm going to call them vigilantes, I suppose, are going around, because I don't think they're patriots. I don't think they're true patriots, and I'll explain why. But they're going around hanging flags with cable ties to street furniture, lampposts, signs, roundabouts, railings, and they're painting on roundabouts as well. The red cross, and on street markings as well, road markings. So you've got white blocks, they're turning them into flags. And I think it's quite tragic, personally.
Yeah, I wouldn't call them vigilantes. I would call them vandals. That's what they are. They're vandals.
Maybe that was the V word I was looking for.
Yes, they're vandalizing. Uh, they're just being. I've had an argument with someone today for about 6 hours, and he's a daft twat. And I'll give
Doesn't
some
surprise me.
context. He was basically yakking on about flags being hung up and how they should be on every lamppost. So he wants them on every lamppost in England. Now, first of all, can you imagine the horror of that image? And then he started talking about Trump for some reason, about because Trump's brought in this new law about if you burn a flag, you get sent to jail for a year. You don't get any like court or anything. You just go to jail, which is illegal.
Does that mean we can start sending Lawrence Fox to jail for a year every time he burns a pride flag, which he has done numerous times?
Well, getting into my argument with this person, first of all, he kept saying we should do what Trump does. I love Trump's ideas because he's doing this, blah, 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 to protect our girls, he said. And I will say he spelled R as in AR, not even with an E, just our girls, like a pirate. And I was like, so you agree with Trump and you love Trump because he's doing this thing for the flags, which will protect our girls, apparently. He's a fucking convicted felon rapist. You can't make it up.
So, I'm sorry, how does flying a flag protect
You tell me.
girls?
Apparently, stopping people vandalizing flags and letting them hang them up everywhere they want to, that protects our girls. Doesn't make any sense. And when you say to them, how does that protect them? Well, it just does. It gives us pride. What the fuck does that mean? How does that protect? How does that protect anybody?
It doesn't.
And
But
these
simply, it doesn't.
And on, I checked his profile.
Was it a bot?
No, but he had some posts about like basically hating gay people and how Pride Month takes over and shoves it in your face, and he was against the flags. So he's a hypocrite, which is no surprise. He's got a reform banner in his profile picture. There's a surprise. Ugh. And I just don't understand. And as for the spraying roundabouts and stuff, it looks tacky. It looks awful. I don't understand how is that patriotic by vandalizing the very country that you're supposed to be patriotic about. Don't get it.
Talking of vandalizing and vandalism, I had this very same argument with someone over on the Book of Face, where someone there was an article where a roundabout had the Red Cross painted on it, and then someone else had painted on it love all, hate none, or something like that. And this newspaper had criticised it, saying roundabout vandalised by left-wing vandals. And I thought, well, hang on a minute. The red painting on it has been done by vandals. It's still vandalism. It's still classed as criminal damage. You can't have it one way and not the other. You can't say that one is vandalism or one isn't. It doesn't matter whether your intentions are, and I use inverted commas, patriotic. It's still vandalism. And I pointed that out, and someone went, no, it isn't. I went, sorry to break it to you, but yes, it is. Because at the end of the day, if they're damaging, if they're painting on stuff like that, it's graffiti, it's criminal damage, it's vandalism. And it's like hanging the flags on lampposts and various street furniture. It's actually against the law to do that, but you cannot do that unless you have express permission from either the local authority like the council or the highways agency. You simply cannot do it. And people are getting up in arms about council workers coming and taking them down, saying, oh, they're unpatriotic. And I even saw an article where council workers have had to stop taking them down because they're facing abuse and threats, violence for doing it, for simply doing their job. Now, tell me how that's patriotic. Tell me how that's, that's good. It's not.
Also,
It's baffling.
how much of our taxpayer money is now going on having to fix all this vandalizing? Because I've seen them above that video of them above the shops painting, just randomly painting two red lines on
Mm,
a wall, and I'm like, first of all, none of you can paint in a straight line,
hmm
and I've noticed all these videos where I'm seeing them do this. It's all above shops that are run by people who are immigrants who have immigrated here, who
mm.
are or who aren't white, like Indian restaurants. They're just deliberately picking above those kind of shops. No other shops. It's always those types of shops that they're putting them above, and that's where you start to see where if you want to raise a flag in your own garden or whatever, that's fine. But it's when you're choosing to do it, it's the intent that you're doing it. If you're doing it in order to try and scare minorities or make people feel uncomfortable, that's not patriotic.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? It's they claim they're doing it because they say they love our country, and they usually spell it ARE country. Um, they claim they're doing it because they're being patriotic, and yet a lot of the time I'm seeing them flying the Union flag and it's upside down. Well, you're clearly not that patriotic, are you? Because you don't know which way up it goes.
Does
Surely
make
you should
sense
know
though.
this. Well, it does because it means distress, doesn't it? Um, and I even saw a picture of. I even posted it. I actually shared it. A picture of the England flag with the word England written on the horizontal cross in the middle, the horizontal red line in the middle, and England was upside down.
Well,
I
then
swear
they're
these.
not the smartest, are they?
Well, no, I swear these people have the IQ lower than the speed limit in a built-up area. Um, but like you're saying, people claim they're doing it because they're being patriotic, but they're not. This is all stemmed from the issues around immigration, and it's clearly being done to be antagonistic. It's very quickly, and I hate to say this of our nation's flag, but it's very quickly becoming a symbol of hate.
Well,
I don't think
this is
it's.
how it started in the 30s with the Nazis.
Mm,
They started hanging up all these flags and symbols in order to be patriotic, as they would call it, but it was to otherize people. It was to basically say, this is our country, not yours. You'll never be part of it, so
mm,
on. And that's where it started. And then look where it ended up. It just
mm,
escalated. And look at America. They have flags everywhere. And
mm,
look at how MAGA is. That is literally where we're heading. And I don't understand why people can't just see what an absolute state America is in and see where we're heading. Because it's at the end of the day, it is just a piece of cloth. It's a bit of
mm.
material, but people act like it's their firstborn child.
And I
But
think that.
they will scribble over it and all sorts. So you're defacing it. So you're you know what I mean? You're doing bad
Mm,
things to the flag. It does, and the way on clothes and hats and all of that's tacky. And I don't think that's very patriotic. Shoving it on
mm,
t-shirts and hats and scarves and whatever else.
yeah, but it's just. I think there's irony in it as well that they do this because they say they love their country and yet they know very little about St. George and the fact that he never actually came to England. Um, and then they're flying these flags thinking they're being clever, but I think the other sense of irony comes from the fact that they they fly them and they talk about veterans as well. Them fighting in the war. Well, they fought against the Nazis, and yet the flag is quite often used by very far right groups, and they often hang it up. They use it as capes and stuff like that when they attend these riots and protests and this, that, and the other, and EDL marches and all that. And the sense of irony is that they themselves are behaving like Nazis and hold those kinds of views as well. And there's even been groups. There was one that I think ITV did a documentary on, of a group that were self-proclaimed Nazis and had the swastika and all those symbols of hate, but then they were, and again in inverted commas, proudly displaying the England flag and claiming they were doing it for the veterans and stuff like that. And it's like, hang on a minute, they fought against what you're believing in. That they fought against the values that you're holding. You know, these people just prove time and time again they don't really care about war veterans. They don't care about Remembrance Day and stuff like that. They don't care about the poppy.
So it's all performative to be racist. That's what it is. They're just it is white supremacy. They think they're better than just because they're white. But what I just don't understand what's happening with this country, how far we've slipped back, because I'm not that old, but I even remember growing up how diverse this country was, and everybody just got on with life, and there was people were different, and that just didn't matter. You were just seen as eccentric, and the TV shows, it wasn't perfect, but there was trans people on TV or drag queens, and nobody cared. And
drag queens in
nowadays,
panto.
yeah, nowadays we've just, I don't know what's happened, but we've just rolled back. I blame the media and I blame past and present governments. They've just thrown immigrants under the bus and minorities in order for these people who aren't very bright to actually look at the real picture. And the real reason why everything is so terrible is because of all the billionaires and the super rich. They've profited off everything. All the rent's gone up, the food, everything, bills, all that, because of billionaires. And immigrants are used as a little shield. So you're looking over there at them and you're not paying attention while someone else is behind you stealing all the money out of your pocket. And it doesn't matter how much you try and educate these people, you can't educate them. I don't know. The education system seriously has failed them, because they have been so radicalized by all this far right stuff. You just can't help them. There's no way you could show them a video, factual evidence, the opposite to what they're saying, and they'll just say, "Oh, that's fake. It's not true." They could see it with their own eyes, and they could say, "No, it didn't happen."
Yeah, but they'll say it's AI or something, won't they? But it goes back to that my favourite quote. You know, the very powerful and the very stupid have one thing in common: they don't alter their views to fit the facts; they alter the facts to fit their views, because they want to believe what they want to believe, because they don't want to admit that they're wrong. But I think before we sort of finish on this, because we are running out of time on this segment. One thing I would like to add is, I think that for Operation Raise the Colours, I think anyone listening, I think they should fly their pride flag proudly, and I think they should do it because it's colourful. You know, it's showing pride.
It really triggers them, so that's an extra bonus.
True, but yeah, I think, you know, if you're listening to this, let's see you post a picture with your pride flag hanging high on display, nice and clear.
Just don't hang it on lampposts, because that is still illegal.
Yeah, no, we don't condone that.
Put it in your
encourage
window.
That. Put it in your window. Wear it as a cape. Put it on as a cape and show us a picture of yourself wearing it. But yeah, Operation Raise the Colours. Let's raise those pride flags. Let's see your pride flags being flown proudly. And we are bringing back In Review, where we're going to be talking about something. We're going to be reviewing something we've enjoyed recently. And usually we do we take turns, don't we, reviewing something? But we're both going to review this. What is it we're going to review this time, Josh?
Well, there's a reason why we're both reviewing this one, because it involves two people. We're going to review the game Split Fiction, specifically on the Switch 2.
Brilliant game.
That's what we played it on. But I do have to say it's probably one of my favourite games I've ever played in probably the last 10 years, like 2-player.
Yeah, it's a brilliant game. Because you got it for me for my birthday, and I thought, but when I saw it, I thought, this is interesting. This is something different. I don't, and I was like, this would be interesting to play. and then quickly realised that I can't play it on my own. I literally cannot play it on my own.
That's why I got it.
You literally have. So, premise of the game. What's the premise of the game, Josh?
Well, I'm not going to remember names because everybody knows I'm really bad at names unless you know them. Put you on
No.
the spot there. I feel like one of them was called Ellie.
I think
Who
it
knows?
was. And Zoe was the other one, wasn't it? Was it Ellie
Well,
and Zoe?
there we go. We found the names. But yes, basically there's a group of wannabe writers. So they write stories and they want to get published. And this big company, big tech company, offers them interviews to potentially release their stories, or so they think. And when they arrive, they quickly realize not everything is as it seems. And there is a machine or device that they place these people into, and you're only supposed to go in together, but something happens where the two main characters accidentally fall into the bubble together. And effectively, this machine goes inside your thoughts and it steals all of your ideas, all of your stories. So then they can take ownership of them, and own all the rights to them. But because two people go into one bubble, it creates a split, as you call it, between all of their ideas, and they have to try and find their way out of the machine whilst traversing through different ideas of theirs. So you kind of jump from one person's fictional story and then you end up landing into the other person's fictional story. But it's a very fast-paced game, but you really do have to work together to do it, because we died about 6,000 times in that game.
But one of the key factors here is you can't play on your own. So
Yes.
what you have to have, there has to be two of you playing. So you have to have friends. You have to have a friend.
I am kind of picturing that loads of grandmas get it their grandkids for Christmas and they don't have any friends, so they can't play it.
Oh, that's horrible. That's horrible.
That's gonna. I wonder how many people bought that game, got home, loaded it up, and then they couldn't play it. Can you play online with strangers? Maybe. I didn't see if that was a feature. Maybe you can.
So. I think so.
Although
But
they would probably
but they
troll
have
you,
to
be
have.
honest.
But they have to have the game themselves.
Although actually you don't, because even on the Switch and also on other consoles, you can actually download like what's it called?
It's a free version of it, isn't it? And
It's like a free version of the game, and it lets you play the game with other people as if you had the game.
Yeah, as long as they have the game.
Which is what I did.
Yeah, which is what you did. So they have to have that loaded onto their console. You have the game on yours, and you have to invite them. And the best way to do it is through the game chat function as well. So you load up the game, you open up a game chat so you communicate with each other. Because I think it's one of those games where communication is key. You've got to communicate with each other to tell each other what you're doing, because sometimes you might have to do something, the other player has to do something else, and you work together. So it's a great game for building up teamwork.
Or swearing at each other. Or trolling each other.
There was many occasions where you were telling me to do something, and I was doing the opposite, and you were like, "No, fuck's sake, do this, do that."
Or I'd deliberately turn on a laser or something that would disintegrate you on purpose.
Yeah, thanks for that. You did that a few times. In fact, we were in that magical realm, and you had the lightning spell, and you kept striking me with lightning.
No,
it
was a magic. No, that was what you were doing to me. I found the magic wand, and I kept turning you into pumpkins and like a book and a frog. And I just kept doing it over and over. But yeah, what we should add is the two main characters, they have completely different writing styles. So one of them
Mm.
loves really dark, adult themed sci-fi, and then you've got the other one who loves magic and fairies and ogres and dragons and all that kind of stuff. So you're jumping between these two completely different worlds. So
Yeah.
one minute you could be flying a spaceship or something, and then the next minute you're a monkey,
Yes.
literally, or a fairy in Nigel's case.
Yeah, I was a fairy.
But yeah, they just it's honestly it's such a good game, and it was in 4K as well, and
Mm.
we played it online together, and it was flawless. Like
Yeah.
it
There was
was
no
as if
lag.
you were sat next to me playing the game.
Yeah, there was no lag. Nothing. It was like it was like we were just playing on the one console next to each other, playing it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think you'd have to have a pretty strong internet though for
Well,
it for there to be
we
no
do.
lag.
Yeah.
We do have the powerful internet that we have. Um, but I I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I was hooked. You know, the fact that you can and you do have to get to certain checkpoints to save the game before leaving it, because otherwise you end up having to do stuff again. But it does auto save, which is great. Um, but I think what I liked what I liked about it, not just the teamwork aspect of it, but also when you consider the fact that you've got two types, as you mentioned, two types of stories that are almost the opposite end of the spectrum. So you've got your historical, sort of mythical, magical world, and you've got your futuristic sci-fi world, and you're just literally bouncing between the two. Um, and it gives it such a, I think that's what helps keeps it fresh as well. Couple of issues. The game itself takes up, I think, about 75 gigs.
I can see why though, to be honest.
Mm. So if you are going to play it and you're going to play it with a friend, I think it's 75. It's around about 60, 70 gigs with the other, the free download that you get so that you can play it. But obviously, once you've played it, just remove it from the console, because otherwise it's just going to take up a load of space. And then when you want to play it again, you can download it again. But I think that's one of the disadvantages of it, with it being um, such a heavy game in respect of storage space. Um, I don't think there was really many negatives about it
No,
that
and
I
I
can think
should
of.
we should add as well. The story was incredible. Like I actually got quite emotional as you go
Mm,
through it, because obviously one of them's really cheery and happy, that's how she comes across, and one of them's quite pessimistic and closed off. And then as they're going through this journey, they're bonding more and they're opening up more. And there's a lot of trauma and working through trauma and PTSD things and stuff like that.
mm.
And honestly, the story was beautiful, and they are actually working on making it into a film,
This
which
is the thing. I mean,
I think would be incredible.
the game wasn't just a game that you had to get from start to finish. There was it was a game, but it was almost like you're watching a movie, or you're involved in a movie of sorts, because you had plot, you had character development. You had the characters developing in such a way that you started to learn about their backstories as the game went on. Um, and that's a lot different to a lot of games that you play, where you might just load up the console and then you end up playing races on Mario Kart,
It really
or a Mario platform game or something.
it really does connect you with the character. Like I felt really connected with the character because I played the same character every time we went on, and I did feel really connected to them. And then when they started talking about things that they've gone through and what they're working through, I really felt emotion for them.
Mm.
It really does that well, like the emotion and the things they're working through, and it feels so real. Um, and we're not going to spoil it, but the ending, I love it.
No.
Honestly, that game, it's one of my most favorite games now. It's really memorable for me. Like it's got comedy in it. It's got really sad bits, really happy bits, highs and lows. It's incredible game, and if you've
Mm.
got someone to play it with, honestly,
Yes,
you need to play it.
if you've got a friend, if you've got a friend,
If you got a friend,
if you haven't, I wouldn't waste your money, to be honest. Um,
so
but
we are gonna look into the studio who's made a similar game called It Takes Two, which came before this one. It's made by the same
yes,
studio with the same kind of premise. So keep your eye out for that review in future.
yes, absolutely. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I loved it. It was definitely worth the time and effort playing it. And I think any spare time we got, we played it. And I think we managed to get it completed in what, a couple of weeks.
Yeah, as soon as we came off it that evening, I'd be like, I need to play some more. And then soon as you were free the next day, I was like, right, can we play some more? I need to play it. I need to know what's happening with the story. It was like pausing a film every 20 minutes and having to wait to watch the rest of it. That's how I
Uh,
felt. Like I needed to know.
and then there was me like, yeah, can I go to the gym? If
No,
you must.
no, you're not allowed. Go to the gym afterwards.
Another thing I liked about it, because I tend to get a bit of motion sickness with some games that are like that, with all the sort of way the cameras move around and everything, and the screen moves around. And I have to say, I didn't get any of that with that game at all.
I think it's because of the frame rate. I think it is 60 FPS and it's in 4K, so you don't have. It's a lot more
Mm.
smoother because some of the scenes are very fast paced,
But I
and
get
I
that with
didn't
Donkey.
feel.
I get it with Donkey Kong Bonanza though, and that's 4K.
Yeah, yeah, but that the camera system on that is very spinny round
Mm.
and stuff. Totally
Yeah,
different.
true, true. But
So
yeah,
we're not gonna review Donkey Kong, Nigel. Just keep to the
no,
script.
I was what script? But yeah, Split Fiction, definitely worth it. Something I'd recommend. I think from all intents and purposes, Josh recommends it as well.
100%.
So if you got friends, go get it. It's now time for Josh to be a moany old bitch. It's the complaints closet.
Do you know, you say that so identical every episode. People are going to think it's like a pre-recorded clip of you saying that. Even the timing between the words is the same.
Shall I call you a moany old bastard next time? Just to prove that it's not.
If you get rid of the old part, then people really will know that it's not pre-recorded.
Well, no, I can change bitch to bastard. I'll keep the old in.
Well, technically, I am a bastard child, so.
Right. What you been a moany old bastard for this week then? What's on your list today?
What isn't on my list? That is the question. Well, I have to keep scrolling through my list because a lot of them I write down really quickly when someone annoys me in public. But then when I go back on my list to look at them, there's no context. So I'm just like, and it'll be like people standing, and I'm like, oh, just people standing in general. I hate them. So anyway, this time,
sit down, you bastards. Sit down.
Yes, this time I'm going to complain about, you know, when someone asks you if you want to do something, and you say no, and then they ask you why not. Because I said fucking no. What? This happens all the time to me. I have family members that say, do you want to go and do this? No. Why don't you want to do that? Because I said no. Yeah, but why? Because I said no. I'm probably saying no because you don't want to know why I don't want to go. But I'm sick of it. Honestly, it's the same with family gatherings. They're like, you coming to this party? No. Oh, why? Don't ask me why. I answered your question. You didn't have permission for a follow-up question.
It reminds me of the line from that film we just watched.
Remind me. I've got a terrible memory.
It's not you. I just don't like having dinner with people.
That is me. That's my energy. But honestly, as is all the time, like people who ask me, family members, they'll be like, "Do you want to go to this Dunelm or something?" And I know I'm going to be dragged around looking at curtains for like 2 hours. I ain't doing that. So I say, no.
Come on, Josh, pull yourself together.
Ha 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 ha. That's going to be that's added to my list. But they'll I'll be like, no. And then they'll be like, why not? And I'm like, you don't get to ask me follow-up questions. I said no. I answered your question. I could have just ignored you, but no, I answered your question. So that's my answer. And honestly, it's winding me up all the time now because as I'm getting older, I just say no to more things. Like if it's not going to bring me joy in my life and it's going to drain my energy and I'm not going to be happy, I'll just say no. Sorry, no. But now I've got to give evidence of why I can't go. I've got to give documentation that has to go through a jury apparently to prove that it's acceptable to say no to these people.
You need a doctor's note next.
Yeah, and I'm just getting sick of it. Like if someone asks you if you want to do something and you say no, they should just go, okay. But no, they want to pry and want to know why. And then if they keep pushing it, I'm just going to say, because I don't like you. I don't want to be in your presence because you're irritating. Or I don't want to have to sit and watch you shoveling food in your face because you eat like a pig. That's what I'm going to. Or I don't want to give you 2 hours of my life looking at ugly, horrid curtains and overpriced bedding for 2 hours because you have no taste. That's what you're going to get if you keep pressing me instead of just taking the answer of no. If you're going to keep pushing me and asking for a reason, you're not going to like my answer because then I'm going to be even more upfront with you because you pushed it out to me. Have you ever had somebody do that to you and you say no to something and then they try and ask you why? Like they have permission to do it?
All the time.
Entitled.
Yeah, it's. I mean, don't get me wrong. I get sometimes it might be out of genuine concern. There might be occasions where they might think, "Oh, is something wrong? Is there a reason why he doesn't want to?" Rather than just it being no. Maybe there's some genuine concern there.
Yeah, but then they could just say, "Okay, no problem. Hope you're okay." There you go. That's not prying into why I don't want to be near you.
And then you'd reply, "Yeah, I'm fine," and that's it.
Yeah, and then leave me alone. Like I just don't understand why people. I've had friends in the past that kept asking me to go out for dinner with them, and honestly, this one friend who's not a friend anymore, she was the most boring person you could ever be in the presence of. She was like on par with being forced to have dinner with Anne Widdecombe. She was like an old Victorian child trapped in a woman's body.
She looked like
and she did, like a haunted pencil, like Jacob Rees-Mogg. Oh. And she used to keep asking me to go for dinner, and I'd have to go, no, no, sorry, no. And she just kept asking me why. And in the end, I did just say, because I'm not being horrible, but you are really boring. And everything you talk about is really boring. And it's just not for me. Plus, it turned out she was a Tory. So I'll get a free pass to tell her. But yeah, she's not friends anymore. But overall, if someone asks me to do something, I'll be polite and say, no, sorry. I probably will say, no, sorry, I'm busy. But then they'll say, what are you doing? And that annoys me as well. What? It's none of your fucking business. I said, no, leave me alone. That's it. I'm seen. I'm done now. Now I can listen to you moan and then I can jump on that. What do you want to complain about, Nigel? Mine is always based on people. People in general, I just hate them.
I like the way you say, what do you want to moan about now, Nigel? And then you go on moaning.
I needed to add that bit on that I just don't like people, just in case everyone didn't realise.
Okay, so out of all the things that I've got on my list, the one I'm going to moan about today is people who finish your sentences for you. So you could be talking about something, you could be telling a story. You could be telling a story of something that's happened that you've witnessed, or you could be talking about something or describing something, or you could be telling a joke. And just as you're in your flow and you're about to deliver that punchline, or you're about to deliver that last bit of what you're talking about,
They
someone
finish your
finishes.
sentence.
You bastards.
I was waiting till I knew that would be the words. That is annoying.
It's very annoying, especially when you're trying to tell a joke and they deliver the punchline for you, and you're
Yeah,
like,
they say the actual joke before you've even said the first two words.
yeah. Or you could be telling someone something that maybe a bit of news or something, and it's something that's some local news, and you want to tell people, when someone comes along and they've heard the news and they're like, oh yeah, this happened. Great, I'll let you just tell the story, shall I? It just annoys me. It frustrates me that people just interrupt, or it's almost like they know what words you're going to say, and then they say the word as you at the same time that you're saying it, and then they go, yeah, yeah, yeah. Shut up. I'm talking. I'm telling this story, not you. It winds me up. I think if I'm telling a story, I'm telling a joke, I'm telling you a bit of news that's happened or something, or or something, good news that I want to share, that relates to me, and then someone else knows about it. They say, "Oh yeah, he did this." Great, you just steal my thunder.
Well, that's main character energy, as I've mentioned before.
Mm. But it's just frustrating. It's just that stealing of that one's thunder. People finishing your sentences for you.
You should
Just,
shush them.
just. Can you imagine me just turning to going, shh?
Like, oi, shush. That's what I'll do. Sit down.
You would.
I would.
But yeah, that's a short moan for me this week.
Is
That
that
is
it?
literally all. That is it. Yeah, that's yeah. It's just a little moan. I mean, I can't compete with the Queen of Bitch here.
Well, next time I'll complain that Nigel's complaint was not long enough for all of you.
Yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for that. And that is all we've got time for this week. We hope that you've enjoyed the show. I certainly have enjoyed it. Have you, Josh?
I have indeed.
Well, of course you have. It's one of the more opportunities you get to moan for every fortnight. But
Obviously.
yes, but yes, we hope that you enjoyed the show. We will be back in a couple of weeks' time with some more fun, some more gaiety, and some more campness. So until then, stay safe and be happy.